Gentlemen and lady, it's that most wonderful time of the year again. My toes are frozen, the cries of the she-devil herself ring through every department store, and this fat fucking cat will not get off my lap. So, in much eager anticipation for jolly old Saint Nick to come throttling down my chimney, it's time to once again share what I want for Smissmas, Team Fortress 2's annual Christmas event. I made a similar video last year in hopes of preventing more frankly terrible content from getting into TF2. If cosmetics and maps are all we're gonna get in the face of abhorrent neglect on Valve's part, then I at least want nice toys. But unlike last year, this time around, you guys, my subscribers, helped me build Smissmas. I held a series of 3 streams where my viewers sent in workshop content, and we worked together to pick out everything for a hypothetical update. So, we will be sharing hats, war paints, maps, taunts, and unusual effects that we would like to see added into the game. Everything featured in this video will be linked in the description below. So, if you just so happen to like anything you see, go show it some love. First up, what I'm sure everyone is the most interested in, we have the cosmetics. Now, traditionally, Team Fortress 2's Smissmas updates haven't been strictly Christmas, or even winter-themed. Only in recent years did Valve start treating Smissmas like a wintertime Scream Fortress. I suspect that in their attempts to Scream Fortressize Smissmas, Valve thought that tacky Christmas costume pieces would tickle everyone's fancy. But, much to their chagrin, no one wants these. Sure, historically, we've received some exceptions, a little festive fun has always been appreciated, but never as an overwhelmingly tacky majority. So, without further delay, these are the cosmetics that we selected for a hypothetical winter case. We tried our best to represent every class, but we threw in a few multi-class options as well. For the Scout, we have the Fast Casual and the Yuppie's Getup. For Soldier, we have the Rocketeer of the Rockies, a set of 3 individual items. For Pyro, we have the Frontline Firebug. You guys picked it again, so it showed up once more. For the Heavy, we have the Moscow Mafioso, a set of 3 individual items, including a really sleek vest. For the Demo Man, we have the Trigger Happy Bomber, a set of 2 items. For the Engineer, we have the Last Conagher, a set of 2 items, the Desk Engineer, and the Investor's Vest. For the Spy, we have the Strasbourg Scholar and the Hellswinger, a set of 3 items. For the Medic, we have the Scrooge McDoc, the Uber Villain, and the Dirty Work, which is also an engineer item. Finally, for the Sniper, we have the Aged Assassin, a set of 3 individual items. And then for our multi-class options, we have the Country Comfort, the Tundra Trucker, and the Nuclear Fashion. Y'all picked the Oppenheimer slop, so it got in there. Alright, next up, we have the unusual effects. Now I'm sure trader mains are chomping at the bit to see how they're gonna make their money this year. Now historically, unusual effects were not treated like hats. Valve eventually realized they could dump 20 new effects into the game 3 times a year and entice players into engaging with FOMO content. Thanks to this, we have an oversaturation of repetitive, uninspired, and frankly, terrible unusual effects. So, in our efforts to mitigate these problems, here is our small, limited, but high-quality pool of unusual selections that I believe would be great additions to the game. Some winter-themed, some not, but all very unique in their own right. And no, there are no unusual taunt effects, because I believe these giant gaudy particle animations are one of the worst additions TF2 has ever received. Arcane Halo. Pretty simple Halo effect, I dig it. Sleepyhead. Yeah, it's kinda cute, you guys picked it. Sparkler, not terrible. Moonbeams, hey, this one showed up again. Personally, my favorite effect of the bunch, but hey, y'all picked it, so here you go. Dreamy Moon, reminiscent of Kirby. And finally, Chilly, Wintry Night. Alright, moving on to what I believe are the most important additions at this stage of TF2's lifespan. Maps. Given that Valve is completely hands-off with this game, maps are the only new gameplay experiences that we receive. Therefore, they should be of the utmost quality. And traditionally, tradition seems to be the overarching theme for this video, traditionally, maps were not treated like hats. Maps were added sparingly as very polished gameplay experiences, and not mass dumped into the game 3 times a year to entice players into engaging with FOMO content. I've already explained why it's not healthy to receive 30 maps in 1 year, but, said again, briefly, an oversaturation of maps bloats the game and spreads the player base even thinner than it already is. Not to mention, many newer maps are of questionably low quality, and Smissmas has been especially brutalized when it comes to poor map selections, with last year's update adding some of the worst maps in TF2's history, including someone's first ever map that Eric saw presents on and said, yeah, fuck it, that's good enough. You can't make this shit up, man. So, to bypass all that bullshit, I've selected 2. Yes, I have selected 2 maps for consideration. I made these picks myself because I can't poll my audience. I won't know if they've played these maps. I don't know if the maps they've selected are actually playtested. I won't know if they only looked at the thumbnails and said, yeah, that looks good, and then sent it my way. I've picked 2 maps that I know for a fact have been extensively playtested, and I can assure you they are of insanely high quality and very fun from my own experiences and customer testimonials. The first map, we have Krampus. If we're going to get more VScript content, this is how it should be handled. VScript should focus on revitalizing existing game modes instead of turning TF2 into Gary's Mod or fucking Roblox. And Krampus does exactly that, with a fresh take on a Halloween boss, except this time for Christmas. And everything was built from scratch, by the way. The map, the layout, the boss, the modeling, everything. It's not just a reskin of an existing map or an existing boss. Everything built from scratch. This map is incredibly well polished and is my pick as the official Smissmas exclusive edition for this year. Now, the second map, King of the Hill Snowbank. A winter reskin of an existing map called Databank. Frankly, this should be the official version, because this design feels way more TF2 than its predecessor. I've played on both versions, the flow is essentially the same, but Snowbank just looks so much nicer. Snowbank is the perfectly sized King of the Hill map that simultaneously doesn't feel too big or too cramped. Every class has their place. There's a lot of good flanks, a lot of good pathways, some decent verticality. It's just really good. This map would be perfect as a new permanent addition to the rotation. I would love to see it in game. Okay, up next we have the Taunts. Now, controversial opinion. I believe that taunts are the best when they are, by definition, taunts. You know, quick, jeering actions you throw out after getting a kill, and not these 5 to 15 second Fortnite emotes or these goofy looping activities like go-kart races or band practice. I think taunts should be added sparingly, but because we're going to get more anyways, I've picked a few that are genuine taunts, and not this. I've selected 2 taunts, not a few, 2 taunts, and the first, we have So Close, speaks for itself, and the snapshot. Do I even need to say anything? Alright, the final, and my favorite part of an update, we have the war paints. Hey, I love TF2 skins. That's no mystery to anyone who's been here for a while. I think skins are a great addition that adds another layer of tasteful customization, well, sometimes. And traditionally, TF2 skins were more widely praised when they look like weapons and not tacky grade school notebook covers. This is the main reason why holiday warpaint cases are generally stigmatized. Back in 2017, they started as generic cases with decent variety and didn't strictly adhere to a holiday theme. But then after this point, Valve strictly kept warpaints as holiday themed for whatever fucking reason. These cases typically only have 1 or 2 skins that are widely praised and the rest are just not. And then, out of the blue, Valve released the summer 2023 case, which blew the rest of the warpaint cases out of the water as the best performing warpaint collection in the game's history. Now, why is this? This is because most of the skins in that case kept weapons looking like weapons, and not fucking holiday-themed McDonald's toys. So, here are the skins that we've selected for a hypothetical case. We have Power Control, Soaring Slugger, Western Rose, Capital Asset, Executive Suite, After Hours, Fire Squad, Bowling Blitz, Building Site, Manco Chill Box, clever, Special Reserve, Warhead, Polar Huntsman, Winter Royal, and Chop Shop. And boom, that's it. If you guys like any of these cosmetics, be sure to click the links in the description below, go vote on them on the workshop, show these guys your love, because all of this stuff would be infinitely better than what we normally receive. Please, God, let Eric Smith just just look at the workshop for a brief moment and have a shred of thought and consideration to what he's adding, and not just throw a fucking dart at a wall and say, yeah, fuck it, that's good enough. Please, a little bit of quality, a little bit of curation would go so far. If they're not gonna fix the fucking bots, if they're not gonna fix the fucking cheaters, if they're not gonna do anything else for this game, like I said earlier, at least give us good fucking toys. Once again, check out the description for all the links to this content. Go vote on it, go show it your love. Pray to God we get good stuff, and I'll see y'all later.